words would you
Oh
give
my
people?
God, in heaven. Why are you doing this?
What
Are we
words would you
abducted by
give people?
aliens? Um, I would just tell them to look at God like it's like there's this trend now where people are like, oh, the universe, the universe is, lining up or moving things or whatever. But it's like they don't look at God as universal. It's kind of a weird thing, like God is just like a church thing or God is just like some spiritual thing. But like in natural processes that exist in the universe, you can learn about God and how he does things. And I just feel like people need to pull God out of just being in a church box. They really need to think about him differently and understand that God is universal. God is involved in everything. I don't know, I remember as a child listening to this lady speak. There's so many preachers and ministers I've listened to, and I'm just like, this person has no idea what they're talking about. Even as a kid, I just was like, that doesn't even make sense. But this lady was talking about how there was a married couple and they were struggling in the bedroom. And she was saying, God, don't go in your bedroom. You got to figure that out. You got to spice it up. You got to figure out how to. And I'm like, God most certainly does. God is the one who gave you genitalia. God is the one who created sexual reproduction. Like, how does he not go on? It didn't make any sense to me. I was like, this lady's speaking nonsense. God empowered a 100-year-old man in Abraham to be able to get a 90-year-old woman in Sarah pregnant. How do you, Viagra can't do that one. Like, how do you do that? You need God. I mean, we look at, what is his name? Zacharias and Elizabeth, or Zachariah rather, and Elizabeth. You look at their story with John. They were old, they were advanced in years, and the angel Gabriel told him, you're going to have a son, you name him John. How's that going to happen? How does that work? I mean, God has to be involved in sex. Why would he tell you not to commit adultery? Why would he have so many issues with sexual behavior if he wasn't deeply concerned and involved in your sex life? And that's like a whole other video. But my point is that God must be universal. God must be involved in everything you do and in every aspect. Your health, mentally, physically, of course, spiritually, but also financially, and even in your relationships, even in your emotions, God needs to be involved. You need to understand that there's an appropriate place for him, and you have to look at him. A lot of times it's kind of weird what I'm about to say because I feel like it's not traditional, but you have to look at him outside of being your judge. You have to look at him outside of being whether you're sinful or righteous or something like that. And you have to look at him as almost like a parent or like even like a force, like a source that you draw from, that you draw energy from. Like, I mean, almost like water. Like if you are a wicked person or you do something wrong or bad, like if you're thirsty, you still go and drink water. You don't suspect that the water won't sustain you because you did something wrong. Whatever wrong thing you did, you don't suspect that food won't sustain you now because you've done something wrong. We have to learn to look at God in a similar way. God is a sustaining force, and we have to have him in order to grow, in order to develop, just as we need food and water. And so while you don't expect food or water to judge you or to condemn you, but you expect it to sustain you and to bring you to growth or bring you to a better state, you must look at God in the same way.